Good evening, and welcome to the Telegraphs Award night for the Bluebell being awarded Best Pub in North Yorkshire. Thank you very much. No, sorry, I'm only joking, of course. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the European Bar Guides Award night for Bluebell being awarded 42nd. Sorry. Welcome to York Cameras Award night for Bluebell's being voted Best Pub in York. And thank you very much. So I know it was a hazy night 3 years ago, but I'd like to start off where I left off then. And the last two things I said were, number one, to the trophy, welcome home. And number two, I closed my speech with a quote from my predecessor, Mrs. Pinder. And she said it's the people in front of the bar that matter the most. And so that's where I'd like to start this speech. And I want to dedicate this award to the people in front of the bar, you lot, the Bluebell's regulars. Without whom, none of what happens here is even remotely possible. I'm the luckiest man alive. Not only am I blessed with a wonderful wife, more on her later, but I'm also blessed to spend my working life in what I think must be the most wonderful group of people assembled in a British pub. To demonstrate how lucky I am, here's a snapshot of the people, the dogs, and the crazy conversations that happen every week in the Bluebell. So Monday, every perfect week has a perfect start. After brasseling the tables, prepping the cellar and ordering a beer, I open the pub at noon and I wait 5 to 10 minutes for Doc to arrive. After feeding the dogs, applying totally unnecessary makeup and nattering about the weekend's gossip, we're ready for customers about 12:15. Dale will hopefully be in for a pint, so I catch up on the weekend's football results, the gossip from other York pubs, and then he helps me with my tax return. Tenerife Eric pops in for a natter and I ask him about where HMS Vanguard is, but he always says his son's not allowed to disclose nuclear secrets to pub staff, so we move on. After serving Sir Jeff, I wait for the sound of bells, the ominous pre-warning that I'm about to serve 2 gallons of Ruby Mild to the Ebor Morris men. We natter about upcoming dance festivals, inflation, canal boats, and then we all take the piss out of Pikey. To this day, I don't know why, but that's Pikey's lot in life, so I just joined in. Calvin and Phil did the rounds at 8 p.m. The first of my weekly dogs comes to say hi, and Gracie gets a biscuit and a belly rub. On Tuesday, after serving Sir Jeff, there's only one game in town, the infamous Tuesday Club. And this is another blessing. I have a dozen pub mums to natter with, and these ladies have been my guiding star for the last 10 years. If I don't think the Tuesday Club will like it, it doesn't happen. And crucially, when I've stepped out of line over the last 10 years, there's always been a quiet, loving and gentle reminder for my pub mums to wind it in a little. And from the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of everybody else, thank you. We chat gardening advice, holiday plans, and currently I'm required to give a weekly update on the size of Katie's bump. After gossiping about our shared arthritis nurses and throwing out anybody stupid enough to ignore their table reserve signs, taxis are ordered, and I quietly laugh at everyone obliviously saying, "See you next Tuesday." If I'm lucky, Andrew will stay for a late one, which means I give the second pooch of the week, Ted, biscuits and belly rubs. By Wednesdays, the week's in full swing, and the perfect week always includes Tony and Debbie, Beardy Mark and Louisa, Diane, Chutney, Graham, and Mick and Margie. Before serving Sir Jeff, we while away the hours having a chat about life in the forces, the Chancellor's taxing and spending calamities, the social care system, how grumpy Ted is after his latest groom, and of course, the promotion chances of York City. After swapping pints of IPA for homemade chutney, we give Tony a nod and we convince Debs to stay for a cheeky half. Where Ted gets a cuddle, a biscuit and belly rubs. Hopefully the bar will quieten a little and I'll have time for a brew in the corridor with John, Robin and Dave, where we will simultaneously chat Russian computer hackers, obscure blues musicians and the academic research surrounding telepathy, or my favourite, American politics. And when the bar gets busy again, it's a joy to see Train Thomas, Emma and Uncle Mo. We chat about trains, Airfix models, and then trains again. I tried to add a little bit of spice by berating Emma for not pedestrianising Fossgate yet. But we always end up back where we started. Trains. Now Thursday is all about the banter. So Jeff's in about 5-ish, and by this point in the week, payroll and rotas have been sorted, invoices appeared, and the cellar is full for the weekend ahead. But before we go through our weekly ritual of telling groups of Geordies that 9 people is actually a group, I have the utmost pleasure of level 10 banter. The back room is raucous with wide-ranging discussions about Lanta Barry, Mick and Andrew, and the corridor is filled with the Thursday sexy boys. They're not very sexy, but they're very funny. They tell me how other pub service has been that night, how busy they've been, and how the beer has been in all those other pubs. And then I wait for 9:30 p.m. So, no, I probably shouldn't publicise this, but Thursday night about 9:30 is when the magic happens. If you've never stood behind a bar and bantered with Ulster Gary, Nick Love, Grandmaster Rich, Rob, Aussie Rach and Rich Neal, then you have not lived. There's not too many pubs where the bar staff are simultaneously listening to a rerun of a chess match, feeding a canary and mastiff biscuits, and watching an Ulsterman taking the snuff virginity of American tourists. But the Blue Band isn't like many other pubs. And just last Thursday, Ulster Gary was telling me how due to Trump's tariffs, Pepsi Cola had been making massive gains in the Middle East, meaning amongst others, Syria, Lebanon and Jordan all have a coke problem. Now, Justin, Claire and Dave will pop in pre and post quiz, and I grill Claire on glassware, and the banter then sinks to such hilarious yet depraved levels that I honestly can't repeat any of it. All I will say, Dave, is I'm always up for a challenging one. I can hear your dirty laugh, that's what you want. Thursday nights are when I get to talk to camera about the thing that matters most. This is not beer. I know that this is an award for the quality of our cask ale, but cask ale doesn't exist in supermarkets and it doesn't exist at home. It exists solely in the pub. So whilst we appreciate the business the Good Beer Guy brings us, and we all love the York Camera Ale Festival, which thanks to Melissa, Carl, Richard, Phil and others is growing from strength to strength. National Camera needs to pivot, and it needs to pivot quickly. It needs to be doing this by looking at the example that our pub protection officer here in York, Nick, is setting. Every Thursday, Nick comes in and tells me the work he's been doing quietly for free, and until now, to be honest with you, very little thanks or fanfare. So on behalf of all the future customers, all the future banter, and all the hangovers created in the pubs you've saved, thank you, mate. I've said it a million times, and it'll be no surprise if I'm going to carry on shouting it. But in my 22-year career behind the bar, we've lost a third of our country's pubs. And we know that no pub equals no cask ale. So we need Camera to support us unconditionally, without hesitation. Otherwise, we will lose more heritage, we'll lose more third places, and most importantly, we'll further fracture and isolate everyone from the young to the elderly in our local communities. It was Melissa and Nick who saved this pub from a pubco in 2018 by launching a petition, and it was you local Camera members who signed it. And we all need to remember that with collective love, passion and energy, we can all save pubs from a similar fate. We just need National Camera to join us. At 4 p.m. on a Friday, the Bluebell welcomes the first slice of regular bread in our Geordie weekend sandwich. With tables reserved, Sir Jeff, Lorraine, Dave Tomo, Andrew, Dave Simo, Tom and Anne and Marie and Wilson all tell us about the week that was. We chat traversing the globe in sailboats, the state of York's social care system, carpentry in St Paul's Cathedral, the upcoming films of family Hollywood actors, working with teenagers in retail, and of course, Wilson gets a biscuit and a belly rub. Titch and Ellie, the only regulars to have followed me here from a Red Lion, take their positions at 6:30, and I know that I'm in for a banter-filled evening ranging from Croatian adventures to Dutch courtyards, with Titch on hand to prove Google wrong at every turn. I should have known that. He knows more than ChatGPT as well. Saturday is a challenge. I honestly think we refuse service to more people here on a Saturday than most city centres venues do in a month. It's a relentless hassle and one we could all do without. But after Dale delivers the papers and we chat about how busy town is, it's time for a few hours of arguing with groups of lads about the importance of atmosphere in tiny pubs. and sometimes physically kicking tourists out of Sir Jeff's seat. After all of that, it's time for a pint. Hopefully Bill and Sandra will smell more of perfume than engine oil, and Gary and Jan will regale us of retro rallycross tales. The latest one being a rather embarrassing moment where my clumsy feet managed to ruin pre-season testing by disconnecting Gary's engine. And I'm still sorry, Gary. Sorry. Sunday requires sustenance, so cheese and biscuits at 5 p.m. is an important part of the week. I get to listen to stories of Italy and pushy parents with Max and Jess, bra fitting and chefing heroics with Ben and Chef, and finally have a proper natter with Sir Jeff. He shows me his upcoming football bets and we all collectively hope for a draw. Schubert gets biscuit and belly rubs. That is, of course, if he's not hiding from Frank's predatory manoeuvres. Hopefully I'll have a natter with Colin, Sarah and Stuart about goodness knows what. And Joke Solly will give me the quote of the day out of the paper, before asking me for the 1000th time if I've heard his latest Groucho Marx quote.
What is it?
So that's my week.
Strong enough.
Yeah, not long to go. So that's my week and it's perfect. It's a blessing, and it's only because of the people in front of the bar that all of us tending to it have such an amazing time. But however enjoyable it may be, I don't know where all the staff are.
I'm here.
You're starting. I've always enjoyed, but it is hard work. Alex, Kev, Esther, Joe, Elise, Dave, and of course, all of ours boss, Dot. These guys put in the hard hours and keep the wheels turning, so please give them all a massive round of applause. Seeing as though this is a beer award, it's worth noting that it's only the collective efforts of everyone behind the bar that keeps our ale fresh and on form. From tapping the cask to pouring the perfect pint and everything in between, no one can do it on their own. So from me, guys, thank you. It's all right, we're almost over here. It's also worth noting that this is not Kev's first Pub of the Year award. Many of you will remember his Pub of the Year awards with Brigantes in both 2008 and 2011, and he's brought all of his extensive beer and cellar knowledge here to the Blue Bell. Thank you. Even teaching me a thing or two about Cascade. Alex won Camera Pub of the Season at the last drop in 2023, and I'm sure I'm not the first to say this. And I'm sure I'm not the first to say it, but this lad and lass will be accepting a Pub of the Year award before you know it. But we also welcome Dave to our Bluebell family as well. Unfortunately, Dave doesn't bring any camera awards with him because the hop shit. I wanted this speech to be positive, and I wanted to dedicate it to you guys. And it was difficult writing a speech that didn't mention Alex. It was difficult writing a speech that didn't mention being excluded from this award for 2 years, being excluded from the Camera Rail Trail because we're busy enough, or somebody trying to change the voting rules so that we couldn't enter the regional competition. So I won't mention any of those things. Back to the positive and just a couple more thank yous to go. Katie, there is no wife on earth that could deal with this craziness. Thank you.
You mean they could cope with you?
Thank you for supporting me and my pub if they can fit. And without you and my pub mums, I'd be a very different person, and this would have been a very different speech. Thank you for telling me to tone it down.
And keep it short.
Yeah, keep it.
We're there. And finally, it's not final. There'll be an encore. Our breweries! It goes without saying that without you guys brewing it, we can't serve it. So thank you to our core breweries, Waltop, Bradfields, Timmy Taylor's for being so consistent. Thank you to Craig at Rudgate over here for coming down tonight. And Craig also donated a cask of Mile for tonight's celebration. I've been working with Craig since the Red Lion days. It's been an absolute pleasure. Brass Castle. What can I say that hasn't been said before? You and the House IPA are the cornerstone of this pub. And I know I speak for everyone here when I say that your beer. Okay. Before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, can you please sing happy birthday to Siobhan? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Siobhan. Happy birthday to you. Thank you also for donating a cask of beer for tonight's celebrations. It is the last cask of batch 1314, which is the batch for us Blue Bar regulars mates. It's your last chance to make it. So before I finish, there's someone very special to all of us who's celebrating a birthday tomorrow. So please can you all join me in singing happy birthday? Last page, I promise. All right. There's only two things left to say. And this is where I'll pick up next time if there isn't next time. No speech is complete without a bit of Shakespeare. And in this crazy, hectic, and sometimes, to be honest with you, depressing world, it's important to remember that if we want happiness, it's up to us to take life up on the opportunity that it affords us. So there's a little quote from Julius Caesar. There is a tide in the affairs of men, which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in miseries. On such a full sea are we now afloat, and we must take the current when it serves, or lose our ventures. And sometimes in life, a full sea is here for the taking. And on that note, let's all celebrate the good fortune that we have here together in this community. I've never said this before, ever. But as a thank you for all the blessings that you all bestow on me, Katie, and the pub, until 10:30 tonight, all cask beer is completely on the house. Caesar! Caesar! Come in! Welcome home! Let's get pissed up!
Thank you, John!